Pradeep K. Suri is the founder of Brain NeuroGov+, an enterprise AI architecture designed to provide governed intelligence across any enterprise domain. The central philosophy of NeuroGov+ is 1. Brain rightward arrow multiple domains rightward arrow common analytical and governance intelligence. Instead of creating completely separate AI architectures for finance, healthcare, manufacturing, government, energy, education, retail, logistics, or other industries, Brain NeuroGov+ uses a common intelligence architecture that can be configured for different domains. The domain changes. The common cognitive, analytical, and governance architecture remains. The NeuroGov+ intelligence architecture. The fundamental flow is domain data rightward arrow knowledge rightward arrow cognitive intelligence rightward arrow analyzer 1.0 rightward arrow policy engine rightward arrow decision intelligence rightward arrow enterprise cockpit. Each layer has a specific responsibility. NGPT understands what the user wants. RAG/AI memory provides relevant enterprise knowledge. Cognitive intelligence provides contextual understanding. The 63 specialized AI engines provide specialized intelligence when required. Analyser 1.0 determines what the evidence and data actually show. Policy engine determines which rules, policies, governance constraints, and authorities apply. Decision intelligence combines the analytical and governance results to produce decision options or recommendations. Decision authority determines who is authorized to make the final decision. The enterprise cockpit presents the result to management or the appropriate enterprise user. Analyser 1.0 The analytical brain. A central contribution of the NeuroGov+ architecture is Analyser 1.0. Its fundamental question is: what does the evidence/data show? Analyser 1.0 converts raw or retrieved enterprise information into structured analytical evidence. Its analytical process can be represented as input rightward arrow extract rightward arrow validate rightward arrow calculate rightward arrow compare rightward arrow detect rightward arrow interpret rightward arrow report. For example, in financial analysis it can examine revenue, expenses, profit, margins, cash flow, debt, assets and liabilities, growth, trends, ratios, anomalies, historical comparisons, forecasts, risk indicators. Importantly, Analyser 1.0 separates facts, calculations, analytical findings, interpretation, and uncertainty. This distinction is important because an enterprise AI system should not present an interpretation as though it were a verified fact. Policy engine the governance brain. Analysis alone is not authorization. For example, Analyser 1.0 might determine the investment opportunity appears attractive. That does not automatically mean approve the investment. The decision may be subject to investment limits, risk thresholds, regulations, approval authority, compliance requirements, mandatory human review, exposure limits, ethical requirements. Therefore, analysis is not equal to authorization. The policy engine provides the governance control layer. Its fundamental question is: what rules, policies, governance constraints and authorities apply? It evaluates policy applicability, compliance, thresholds, authority, restrictions, conditions, escalation, auditability. The core principle is evidence plus analysis plus policy equals governed decision. For example, if Analyser 1.0 identifies a projected return of 14%, and policy requires more than 10%, the policy result can be pass. However, if another policy requires board approval for investments above 100 Indian rupees crore and the proposed investment is 150 Indian rupees crore, the result becomes conditional approval. The analysis may be positive, but the required authority has not yet been satisfied. From analysis to governed decision. A typical NeuroGov Plus analysis can therefore proceed through user question, downward arrow, domain identification, downward arrow, data acquisition, downward arrow, knowledge retrieval, downward arrow, cognitive contextualization, downward arrow, specialized AI intelligence, downward arrow, Analyser 1.0, downward arrow, policy engine, downward arrow, risk and compliance evaluation, downward arrow, decision intelligence, downward arrow, decision authority, downward arrow, enterprise cockpit, downward arrow, audit and AI memory. This is the Any Domain Governed Analysis Framework. 1. Architecture. Any domain. The same architecture can operate across many domains. Finance. Financial data. Rightward arrow. Analyser 1.0. Rightward arrow. Financial policies. Rightward arrow. Financial decision. Healthcare. Hospital and patient-related operational data. Rightward arrow. Analyser 1.0. Rightward arrow. Healthcare policies. Rightward arrow. Governed healthcare operational recommendation. Manufacturing. Production data. Rightward arrow. Production analysis. Rightward arrow. Safety and quality policies. Rightward arrow. Production decision. Government. Program statistics and departmental data. Rightward arrow. Program analysis. Rightward arrow. Government rules. Rightward arrow. Governance decision. Energy. Generation and consumption data. Rightward arrow. Energy analysis. Rightward arrow. Regulatory policies. Rightward arrow. Energy decision. Retail. Sales, customer, and inventory data. Rightward arrow. Commercial analysis. Rightward arrow. Pricing and compliance policies. Rightward arrow. Business decision. The architecture remains common while the data, knowledge, metrics, models, policies, workflows, and authorities change. Role of the 63 specialized AI engines. The 63 specialized AI engines complement rather than replace Analyser 1.0 and Policy Engine. A representative flow is domain input. Rightward arrow. RAG/enterprise knowledge. Rightward arrow. Cognitive intelligence. Rightward arrow. 63 specialized AI engines. Rightward arrow. Analyser 1.0. Rightward arrow. Policy engine. Rightward arrow. Decision intelligence. Rightward arrow. Enterprise cockpit. The exact sequence can vary according to the use case. For example, a risk engine can provide risk intelligence. A forecasting engine can provide forecasts. A compliance engine can provide compliance evidence. A specialized knowledge engine can provide domain knowledge. Thus, the 63 engines form an enterprise intelligence powerhouse, while Analyser 1.0 and Policy Engine provide reusable analytical and governance capabilities. The NeuroGov Plus principle. The overall architecture can be summarized as enterprise data plus knowledge plus cognitive intelligence plus specialized intelligence plus analysis plus governance equals governed enterprise decision intelligence. And more specifically, Analyser 1.0 equals analytical brain. Policy engine equals governance brain. Therefore, Analyser 1.0 plus policy engine equals governed analytical intelligence. Traditional AI may simply provide. Here is my answer. Brain NeuroGov Plus is designed to go further. Here is the evidence. Rightward arrow. Here is the analysis. Rightward arrow. Here are the applicable policies. Rightward arrow. Here is the risk. Rightward arrow. Here is the recommendation. Rightward arrow. Here is the authority required. Rightward arrow. Here is the auditable reasoning. Dr. Pradeep K. Suri. The vision. Based on the supplied material, Dr. Pradeep K. Suri is presented as the founder of Brain NeuroGov Plus and the architect of a domain-independent enterprise AI vision. His approach is centered on integrating analytical intelligence with governance intelligence, rather than treating AI analysis and enterprise governance as separate activities. The architecture seeks to transform enterprise data into governed, auditable, transparent, responsible and trustworthy enterprise intelligence. The strategic significance is that Analyser 1.0 and Policy Engine are reusable NeuroGov Plus core services, not merely financial analysis tools. A financial analysis cockpit can therefore be one implementation, while the same underlying architecture can support healthcare, government, manufacturing, energy, education, insurance, retail, logistics, research and many other domains. In one sentence, Brain NeuroGov Plus uses Analyser 1.0 to determine what the evidence means, Policy Engine to determine what governance permits or requires, and Decision Intelligence to transform both into an auditable, authority-aware enterprise recommendation across any domain. Dr. Pradeep K. Suri.